Welcome back to 70 times 7, the platform where the dynamics of forgiveness is explored. As I shared with you my childhood experiences, Busi, and of course you know much more than what I just shared on this set today. In your work with young people, what has been your experience? Has it been similar to mine?
Yes, Paul. Some young people have come to me, talking to me about their past. And I can tell you now, Paul, as they explain and describe their upbringing, it almost brings one to tears, because really some of them went through great ordeals. But the Lord has been good to them. But some of them have not been able to forgive their parents. Some of them have not been able to deal with the past. And they come to me saying, but how can I forgive my father or my mother who has not been there for me when I needed him most? And that's a challenge, I must say.
See, how do you size up their personality for those who could not forgive their parents? I mean,
their outlook on life at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, their outlook on life at the moment, some of them is negative. They don't see themselves succeeding in life. They think that they will be useless. They think that they will not achieve anything in life because they have hung on to the past for so long. And they have not dealt with the past, and they have not been able to forgive their parents or their family members who have abused them, or who are responsible for the circumstances they find themselves in.
It's easy for us to say forgive. But if your parents have neglected you, Busi, it's very easy for us to sit here and say that Christ has forgiven us, let us forgive. But I understand what these young people are going through, because it's very difficult to forgive. Especially your parents, who is supposed to be the ones who are nurturing you and guarding and guiding you. You know, the ones entrusted with the responsibility of caring for you are the ones who hurt you. It's very, very tough.
I'm just wondering, Paul, you said about the youth center. How many of you who were there before and now, if you comparatively speaking, are still bitter, or I mean percentage-wise, I mean?
Oh, June, I would say maybe around 95%.
Really, eh?
Yeah, and you know what? I've discovered the secret. The secret is not that we have blocked out what has taken place. I can tell you exactly what took place. The secret is not that we blocked it out and we're living in denial. No. The secret is, you see, there's an amazing thing about forgiveness. You see, every time you don't forgive, this is what happens. Say, for example, your wife offends you, right? And you don't forgive, then you carry this burden. And you walk everywhere with it. You go to work, you carry it with you. Then your child offends you, you carry it wherever you go. Your father has offended you, since he's your father, will give you a bigger weight. Right? Your father has offended you, you carry it all over. And then your mother offends you, you carry the offenses of your mother. Now, can you imagine, June,
So
walking with this?
At the end of the day, you'll be overweight.
Yeah. Right? But overweight, and this time he can't get it off by exercising.
Overweight with burdens.
Yes, overweight with burdens.
Yes.
Unnecessary burdens.
Now, the amazing thing is, June, when you get married, you carry the same burdens into your marriage. And the process, we've discovered before that marriage is a process of becoming one. So your burdens now becomes your wife's burdens, which is unfair on her.
Now, can you imagine if both of them come with a baggage like that?
Yeah.
So they are hitting each other.
So kids are born with burdens.
Yeah, so we transfer these burdens now, because an unforgiving spirit, a negative attitude, is something that you cannot contain. It's contagious.
Yeah, it is contagious.
It is contagious. So we transfer the same spirit that is burdening us. We transfer it to our children.
But Paul, I mean, if this is tied up to my hands, how do I take this out?
Well, Jesus says, come unto me, all you are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, in practical sense, I mean, how does it happen?
You really need to confess and say, Lord, I cannot forgive my parents. I cannot forgive so-and-so because they've done this to me. They are my family member. I trusted them, but they've abused me. They've done this. Lord, I cannot do it. I think that is a critical thing to do, to confess to God that we cannot do it.
You mean be honest with
Yes,
God?
be
You know,
honest.
sometimes Busi, sometimes when we pray,
Yeah.
we want to tell God what He already knows. Firstly,
Yeah, we have
want to
fancy prayers.
Yeah, and we want to give Him some advice.
Yes,
We say, Lord, you know, this is the way I've weighed the situation.
Yes.
This is what must happen.
Yes.
Now, Lord, I am praying, and I know it is Your will, Lord.
Yes, yes.
And when God don't answer the prayer, we get disappointed.
Yeah.
So I like what you're saying, Busi,
Yeah.
that we must be honest with
Yeah.
God.
You see, one writer, Ellen White, says, prayer is the opening of the heart to God as to a friend. Not that it is necessary to make known to God who we are, but in order to receive Him. So we open up our hearts, and it's not because He doesn't know what we're going to say, but we need to pour all out to Him.
So Paul and Busi, if I forgive, should I forgive each of them one by one, or I just forgive them as a package?
My brother, once you
I
confess,
just throw this away.
Once you give the load to God, it's a package. He takes care of the whole person. You don't need to worry, hey, by the way, I have a list of people that I need to forgive.
So
no,
the
no.
Lord takes a crane and take it out,
Definitely, you put it
dumped
well.
in the middle of the sea.
crane is removed.
Now, the amazing thing is that our past hurts and our burdens, we don't just take it and leave it aside.
Yeah.
No, we take our past hurts, our burdens, right? Every time we come to God, right? You know what I've discovered, June? Every time we pray and we ask God for strength, we find that our burdens get lighter.
Yes.
And as we get into the habit
Yes.
of trusting Him for His strength and His power and His grace, the burdens get lighter as the days go by. The ideal is to constantly be with God so that your burdens are constantly removed. And then when eventually the burden, the pain, the hurt of whatever your parents may have caused you, your brothers or sisters, your neighborhood, whatever they may have caused you, when that burden is released, now you are free.
Now, if that burden has thorns, and when I take it off to God,
Yeah.
there's some scars that remain in me. So what should I do with those scars?
Scars remain, but as we said previously, Christ is so merciful that He helps us to bear even the consequences of what has scarred us, has hurt us.
Because you say there's a notion that says forgive and forget, but sometimes you could forgive, but you could not forget.
Yeah, you see, the memory will be there. You will remember what has happened to you. But allow me to say, that memory of what has happened validates your forgiveness. In other words, it makes forgiveness very valid because you still remember what He did to me. You still remember what they did to me,
you
but
don't feel
you
the
say,
hurt.
Lord, the memory will not override my responsibility to forgive.
Let's hold it right there. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.